Yes, looks like it.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Mayor and City Manager's monthly news conference. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We'll still have the Mayor and the City Manager speak, but at the end of the news conference, we're going to have Public Works talk about all of our road construction projects that we're going to be doing this year. And we'll hold questions after that. And then after this news conference is over, I'll be sending you all a press release that has details on all of those projects. So Michelle, you can go ahead and take it away.
Thank you very much. So very excited to be here with you all today, the 30th of March. And as you can see, we are gonna kick off the road projects. So you'll hear a little bit more about that coming up. And I'm sure that all of you will have grace and compassion with all of our workers in the street as they're gonna be doing their work to make sure that we have the roads that we want and that everybody in our community deserves. It's a lot of hard work. Other than that, I really don't have much going on. I know that there's some things happening at the city and county level with regards to our COVID-19 situation. We're moving phases rapidly right now. If you have a 16-year-old, you're able to vaccinate your 16-year-old. There was a blip with regards to the amount of vaccines that the state of Kansas received. However, we are still in process awaiting more vaccinations. But right now, anybody, you can get your children, your younger adults, ready to take the vaccine if they should want to do so. And as a favor, I ask of all of you, please consider taking the vaccine. It's important that we are able to get everybody in order for us to have the level of immunity that we need to be able to not wear our masks in public. We need to have 80% of individuals in our community either having had the virus or having had both shots. So don't throw away your shot and make sure that if you have an opportunity that you get that vaccination. We are seeing an increase in cases again, so that we ask all of you to please, please, please keep your distance, wash your hands, and keep doing what you're doing still. Aside from that, City Manager, it's all yours.
All right, thank you. I just have a few things today. The first one being, if you hadn't heard already, we're instituting a program in the city called the Ombudsman. And our new Ombudsman is Monique Glaudet. And she will be available to citizens that are trying to work with the city on issues. If they've had roadblocks that have been put up, they don't know who to turn to. Monique is going to be there with her staff to be able to assist you in getting that information that you need in order to be able to know how to respond or how to provide for your particular issue. So please reach out to Monique. She can be reached either at ombudsman@topeka.org or 368-3947. We have that information on the website. We've also been putting it out on social media to try and get people to know that she's available and ready to be able to help and assist in issues that you may have, or take complaints if there's a particular issue, citizen, employee issue, then we can also take those complaints and follow up on them to make sure that things are being done correctly. As mentioned, construction season, looking forward to hear from Mark in a little bit related to our projects. A lot of them have started already, but there's more to follow. Speaking of construction, our new Public Works Director will be starting April 5th. Excited to have James coming to town. James Jackson will be starting April 5th. And so we're excited to he's going to be here and looking forward to what changes and issues that he can provide in order to move our community forward. He has great experience from his past positions, and we know that he'll bring some new and fresh ideas for us. Right now, if you haven't been following our budget process, April 6th, the City Council, the governing body, will be reviewing the capital improvement plan and projects that are listed in that budget, and they'll be there for consideration. And if they feel comfortable, we're proposing action on April 6th on approval of that CIP budget. So if you haven't taken a look at the projects, please tune in and look through the information to understand what projects are being proposed in our 5-year plan and 10-year plan. And with that, I'm done, and I guess we'll turn it over to Mark.
Good morning. We're currently looking forward to another busy construction season in 2021 to help fix our streets, provide the right treatment for the right road at the right time. I'm Mark Schreiner, the interim city engineer. And I do want to stress to please be safe in work zones for both the citizens of Topeka and for the contractors. The city's pavement management plan is comprised of 4 treatment strategies depending upon the pavement condition. First of all, I'd like to indicate, Molly, bring it back beginning, please. There you go, girl. Thank you. Our first treatment option is preventative maintenance. Preventative maintenance primarily consists of crack sealing, followed by a surface or microsurfacing program. This program helps to keep our good streets good. The next level of treatment is major rehabilitation. This is primarily for streets with significant surface stress, but the underlying pavement and the subgrade are still in good condition. With this ability, we're able to use a microsurfacing program, and we're able to get localized full depth repairs. This is called our mill and overlay program. A third level of treatment is reconstruction. Reconstruction occurs when there is significant pavement and subgrade issues. This basically indicates that the street has outlived its useful life, including the subgrade. Therefore, total reconstruction. The fourth treatment is known as what we consider as the stopgap measures. This is typically pothole patching to keep the streets in serviceable condition. Molly, please. As you'll see in slide number 1, is the second phase of 10th Street from Watermaker to Fairlawn. We are starting on the eastern or the western portion of Wood Bridge to Fairlawn Road. This is a complete reconstruction from a rural lane with ditches to a three lane curb and gutter with 5-foot sidewalks on the east and 10-foot shared use paths on the west. It'll be very similar to what people see from Fairlawn to Gage. Next slide, please. This project is in North Topeka and is currently under construction as of the end of 2020. This project consists of
You muted yourself.
I'm gonna have to keep my hands off of things. Second project is North Topeka from Curtis to Morris. This consists of a full depth asphalt pavement construction project. ADA sidewalk ramp replacements, in addition to enclosed storm sewers and water line replacements. Slide 3, please. This project is 12th Street from South Kansas Avenue, currently South Kansas Avenue to Washburn. The full project is South Kansas Avenue to Gage Boulevard. And 2021 is the South Kansas Avenue to Washburn Avenue. This includes a new street, a one-way traffic lane, an auxiliary lane for parking, bus pullouts, and deliveries. Sidewalks and shared use paths included. As indicated, in 2022, the next phase will be from Washburn to Gage. Next slide, please. This project is North Kansas Avenue from Morris to Soldier. This project consists of the removal and replacement of streets, partial water line and selective water line and sewer replacements. Two-way traffic will always be maintained during this construction until we hit the intersection where it will be full closure. Next one, please. Southeast Deer Creek Traffic Way, I-70 to Southeast 6th Avenue. This project is a complete mill and overlay project with full depth patching at required locations. Next one, please. Central Park. Next one, there you go, Central Park. Central Park Neighborhood Sort Program, which is a stages of resource targeting, consists of construction of approximately almost 38,000 square feet of sidewalk, repaving 5 alleys, which will have sewer mains to be replaced underneath the alleys of replacement. The work in these areas was the primary locations of phase 1. The intersections or the parameters will be from various alleys between Southwest Polk to Central Avenue, Huntoon to 6th, and Polk to Buchanan, and 16th to 17th Street. Next one, please. This project is Southwest 8th Street project, which is the end of the 2020 infill sidewalk pedestrian master plan. This sidewalk will provide complete ADA compliance from Summit to Topeka Boulevard, and it is underway. Next street. This here is our preventative maintenance program. We're going to be kicking off with a microsurfacing program. Therefore, in these programs, it's trying to make sure that our good streets are good. Currently, we're going to try to reside in the west side of Topeka. We're going to finish up anything that was left in 2020 and extend also in that area. This microservicing and preventative maintenance program is in its 4th year of its life cycle. Next one, please. We got a variety of city half-cent sales tax programs. At the intersection of 6th and Jackson, this is going to be what we have our reconstruction program. We'll have the north leg of 29th and Kansas. We'll have a mill and overlay intersection and the complete intersection at 29th and Kansas. We will have currently also the ADA program, which is right now in the North Topeka West neighborhood. And it also includes the downtown and Monroe area. And we try to slip in there the Topeka corridor if possible. Next one, please. We have our mill and overlay projects, which is Southwest 30th to Hillcrest, Twilight Drive to Eveningside Drive, and along Southwest 37th, Indiana to California. Additionally, we have a curb and gutter program. This curb and gutter program is a never-ending process. And we are certainly doing our best to keep up with all that we can on that program. Our alley program is going to be from Quincy to Kansas, between Quincy and Kansas, between St. John's and Paramore, Kansas to Jackson, Morris. Oh, all of this will be in the Noto area. Well, I lost Morris. Morris to Laurent, and Kansas to Jackson, and Laurent to Gordon. Next slide, please. Additionally, anything more than our 250,000 on these projects, we're going to be moving to 29th Street for McVicker to Burlingame. And this will be concrete replacements. Either they have to be panel replacements, or we have local various breaks on the joint replacements. Also, we include asphalt patching at various citywide locations. And in addition, panel and joint repairs at citywide locations. Next slide, please. On our traffic signal program, within the city, we have 186 operable signals in our system. We target to try to replace 3 a year. Our replacements are based on the physical condition, operational deficiencies, and capabilities of the electronic equipment. Depending on the localization, we try to determine either we're going to use galvanized or black coated poles, mast arms, and illuminated street signs. And that's it. Thank you. And if you have any further questions or need additional information, please visit our project portal for any updates.
Thank you, Mark. We'll now take any questions. So if you want to use the raise hand feature in the participants or the chat, and let me know if you have any questions, and then please let me know who you want to direct it towards.
I
Does
did
anyone
not
have any
mention that
questions?
5 are underway currently. We got 4 starting in April and 1 in June, so we are moving forward.
Okay, Dan Garrett has a question for you, Mark.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find the raise hand feature, sorry. But Mark, I was just wondering, coronavirus has impacted the cost of materials, and I was wondering if that is impacting the amount of projects you're able to take on this year.
Well, when the bids went out, the costs were tried to be set in a stable condition, but yes, there is still that possibility that material costs can go up, but they should have previously, any projects that are already under construction or have bid and are approved are locked in on those values.
Okay, WIBW has a question.
So, hello, can you hear me? I'll put my video on too. Maybe we can see. Maybe.
Yes.
Alrighty, perfect. So I have a question for the mayor and city manager. This has to do with the bird scooter program. Are we still planning on getting 300 of them? Will you be there on the first day to promote it? And then will they be in the same location as the former bicycle program as well?
I'll provide some information on that. The initial plan is for them to distribute 100 of the scooters and then ramp up as the summer goes, just to get it started in a slow fashion and get used to the program. They will have designated areas where they ask you to leave the scooters in particular areas where they're at. Whether some of those probably will be locations where bikes used to be, but it's not the only areas where those designated locations to pick up are. They have a program that you get encouraged to place them in their designated locations, which is what we desire, so that they're not strung all over the community. I don't know about being there when they get kicked off, but I do believe that at some point there's a good chance I'll probably try to utilize one. I've seen them in other cities. They're fun. They're a good way to get around in a hurry. And I think that it's a neat program, and it's an opportunity for us, especially with the bikes program having gone away, to allow that last block of transportation from wherever a person might be when they've utilized mass transit. So it is an opportunity, and it's something that I think that we'll just see how it goes. We've got an agreement with them that addresses that, and we're hoping that it's a success. But it is something we know we'll have to evaluate and see how it goes.
We have a question from Dan.
Yeah, it seems like over the weekend, especially, the amount of shootings in the area have really skyrocketed. And I was wondering if this is raising any concerns, or if we're trying to see if these are connected. And then also, how is the search going for the police chief?
Well, as far as the various shootings, I think that obviously our department is doing whatever they can to gather intelligence related to each of those, investigate them appropriately, and then if there's actions that they can take based off of those investigations, they'll surely take it. I think that those types of things they're not items that I get briefed on specifically. Those are investigations that are ongoing, and so I don't have any more specifics to give you than that those are being investigated and pursued as well as they can be. And in order for us to get to the bottom of it and try and prevent the shootings from occurring, based on, that's not something we want to have in our community. And so our officers will be doing the best they can to make sure and apprehend those responsible. As far as, what was the second part of your question, Dan? Oh, police chief search. I'm sorry. I understand now. At this point, we're still continuing to wait in regards to the final police chief decision. That was something that we stated early on. I stated early on is that we want to make sure and get through this police and community committee process in order to be able to know what types of changes might exist, so that any police chief that's interested in this position would be aware of what the requirements would be, whether we institute another board that is doing any citizen review, or if we're, whatever policies we establish, that they understand fully what the responsibilities they will have as a chief are known. And so that's why we've been holding off. I think Chief Wheelis is doing a great job. He has definitely stepped up to the plate when it comes to running the department. And I hear very good comments from within the ranks that we're moving forward and doing well. So excited that he's taken this responsibility on, and definitely think that as we go forward, he'll be a strong contender to be the next chief on a permanent basis.
The other thing that I wanted to add is that our community is working to develop the SAFE program. And this is going to be something that, as they're hiring their staff and making sure that we have ways of intervening into our community so that we can identify those individuals that are causing the challenges in our city, so that we can make our community safer. So again, Mr. Cochran or Mr. Munoz can probably speak about this a little bit deeper. We have talked about the SAFE program before, but I think that especially now in a weekend like this one, when I'm looking at my email and I'm seeing these things happen, at least I know that our community is doing something innovative and different, driven by our community to help us mitigate these instances in our city.
We have a question from WIBW.
Bill wanted
yes.
to say something.
yep, go ahead, sorry.
Well, I can tell you right now, the SAVE program is really getting the kick up into gear. Matter of fact, I have a meeting at 10:30 with Lindsay from the DA's office, who is going to be organizing the SAVE program. And so we're excited about it. Like I said, when I was the chief, one of those programs that has a lot of support from the police department, the DA's office, and the community. So we hope to really get this rolling here very quickly. And I'm sure it'll have a very positive impact on the situations that are going on in our community right now.
All right, we have a question from WIBW.
All righty. So for the city council meeting, I know that fire commission recommendations for a new fire station are going to be discussed for Southwest 6 that's along there. Does that mean that they'll be closing the lower Silver Lake Road fire station or keep it active? What's the plan for that?
Well, based on the recommendation that the fire commission is making, they're stating that that station would stay open even once the west station was built. Now, obviously, there are decisions that have to be made from the governing body in a budgetary sense to be able to do so. And so that'll be an item that they'll have to discuss. But really, that's a decision that is, basically not a decision that has to be made until the new station is completed. And at that point, there would have to be that debate as to whether that station would be closed or not. But the recommendations from the fire commission were not to close that and to keep station 11 and 1 in place. And so those decisions will have to be made at some point. But really, one of those things, you can't get to that point of even considering that decision until we get the new station built. And so that's where the focus is going to be, I think, from the recommendations, is to move forward with planning some type of station for the west side. We already own the land. That decision was made. We've got a great location. And so now it's really about looking and deciding on when we want to budget for the construction of that station.
We have a question from Dan.
Yeah, just following up, would the mayor or Bill be able to kind of elaborate on the SAFE program for people that don't know?
Certainly, the SAVE program is strategies against violence everywhere. And what that is an initiative that was started a couple of years ago and has been being worked on. And we've gotten people trained now and hired staff. And in essence, what the program is try to identify individuals who may be high risk for the propensity of violence or being the victims of violence, and working with those. And it's in essence, try to steer them in the right direction, give them guidance, provide them resources and things that will help them be successful. When we talk about individuals who are young and they have young children, we need them to be parents, we need them to be fathers and mothers, and so we need them in our community. And so this whole program is to focus on giving them life skills as well to be successful, to be successful parents, and to have a good quality of life for themselves as well as their children in our community. And so this is a community-based program, which does have some intermingling, shall we say, with government, including the DA office, police department, city of Topeka, sheriff's office, and the county. But those are efforts to help provide wraparound services with our community-based services to help people be successful at a young age and steer away from bad decisions.
We've got a question from WIBW.
All righty, perfect. I believe this is my last one. Sorry about that. We saw Councilmember Mike Padilla file for mayor. Do any of you expect any other members to file for mayor as well? And then what are your thoughts?
I can say that I have not heard of any other council members run for mayor.
We have a question from Dan.
Yeah, this is probably my last one as well. I don't know if we have anyone from the health department here, but I was just wondering, we're now on the last phase where pretty much anyone 16 and older can get the vaccine. Do we have a timeline of when we hope to have everyone go through the phases?
So I think that the biggest question for all of us is, when are we going to receive the vaccine allocation that is going to allow for us to have broad capability? What I can tell you is that in our team from the county and the city working together with our partners in the community, that includes the hospitals, Grace Meds, the pharmacies, the pharmacies are receiving their federal allocation. We are receiving the allocation that is coming to the states. And as you heard recently, the state is trying to consider the strategy of not only sending it to the counties, but now sending those vaccines out to the doctor's offices so that people could have much more ability to have access to those to the vaccine. The challenge that we have is we don't have enough vaccination for everybody. So everything that we are seeing and every ability for us to be able to vaccine individuals is going to be highly dependent on how many vaccines we're receiving and when we're getting them. Our hope and our prayer is that by the end of June, I think that everybody heard that the president said that hopefully everybody should have their first vaccine by the end of May. So that's why I say the end of June, because if everybody were to have their first vaccine by the end of May, like it's being, the hope that we all have for our country. And not only that, but then people get their second vaccine by the 15th, depending on which vaccine they take. And if you take the Johnson & Johnson, it's just one vaccine that you have to take. Then by then you'll have 2 weeks after, and the end of June should be when we start seeing that number that I was talking about. But what I want to make sure that you hear from this conversation of vaccination is me repeating again to all of you. I know that we are talking about masks being optional in the county. I personally don't feel like they're optional quite yet, for me personally, and here's why. We still have a large amount of individuals in our community that either have not had the virus or have not had the vaccine. So as a favor, so that we don't go back. If you look at what's happening in Europe, Europe is having a third wave because people felt too relaxed, and before they had the mass proportion of individuals that were either inoculated naturally or inoculated by a vaccine with the virus, they started interacting too early, and they're seeing a third wave and a surge of cases. Knowing that that's happening with our neighbors in Europe, my encouragement to all of you and my ask of all of you is please wear your mask. If you haven't had your vaccine, you know what, just act like if there's no vaccine available and wash your hands and keep your distance as much as you can, because this is what's going to keep us from going back. And just if that's not enough for you, then think of this. I am looking forward to the end of July when God willing, we will have a mass number of people vaccinated in our community so that I don't have to wear the stupid mask anymore. I hate the mask. I'm asking people to wear it, and I wear it too because it's the right thing to do. But it's uncomfortable and it's frustrating not to be able to hug people and interact with people the way you want to. If we get this wrong, we will have to start seeing increases, and you'll start seeing us go back potentially on figuring out how to keep people safe. I don't want that. You don't want that. We want this to be done. The way that will be done is let's keep taking care of each other until we have enough vaccine, until we have that threshold of people, so that after July, we throw those masks out, we burn them, we do a party, and we just celebrate as a community the great work that all of us in our community have been doing to keep each other safe.
All right, Blaze has a question.
Kind of on that last note, is the city then considering its own mask mandate, or are you guys comfortable with what the county decided?
Oh, well, right now, no, we're not looking at any mask mandate. I think that the thing that we're doing is right now looking forward to the possibility of being able to not require masks to be worn in city buildings around the 1st of May. Obviously, we still need to look at that, whether that's going to be acceptable where we're at the time. But that's kind of what we're looking at, is waiting about another month before we make it optional to wear a mask within City Hall or other city buildings. allowed a little more time frame for individuals to get vaccinated so that we can be in a better shape when they're coming to visit city buildings. But that's kind of our target right now, as we're looking towards May 1st to remove that requirement.
Are there any other questions? Okay, I don't see any other questions, so I will be sending out that press release to you all shortly with all of the information on the road construction projects for this year. Thank you for attending. We will see you all next month.
Mark, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Mark.